Hello everyone, I'm Chase of Rocky Mountain ATVMC giving you a closer look at the comp boot from Fox Racing. All right everyone, thanks for tuning in. Today we're giving you a closer look at the comp boot coming from Fox Racing. So as far as where this fits in the Fox lineup of boots, the comp's going to be their entry-level model. Price point, you're going to be right around $200. Now, if you're familiar with the comp boot from Fox, and maybe you watched the other Spotlight video that we already had, you're probably looking at it thinking that's the exact same boot. It's pretty dang close. The only difference between this that I have on the table today and the previous model are the two upper buckles. With the first edition of the comp boot, they had silicone straps up here at the top. They're now using just their standard Instinct style buckles. That's the only difference. So if you're already familiar with that, you already know about the boot. If you're new to the comp, welcome. We're going to talk all about it. And I will talk about why they went back to this traditional style strap here in just a little bit. But when this first came out back in 2018, I actually had the chance to ride in it down at Fox Raceway. And overall, I think for an entry-level boot, I think they did a good job. There's a lot of things that I do like about this, and I'll kind of help steer you in the right direction of whether or not you think this will be the boot of choice for you. But overall, the fit, it's true to size. It's very comfortable right out of the box. You have pretty good flex. A little bit stiff. It's going to take some time to break in. Just be patient with that. But you have a nice wide toe box. But remember, these aren't apparel items, so if you get these, if you're not happy with the size of the fit, send it back in brand new unused condition. We'll get free shipping both ways on your first exchange, just to make sure you get the size and the fit that you are looking for. But one other thing that I noticed about fitment that I was glad that they did with these is the calf opening. So for me, I have about a 16-inch calf diameter, pretty big. I also wear a full-size knee brace, so for me it's important that the boot has a large calf opening. That way it fits over my calf and the knee brace. So with these, I was able to do that. So if that's a concern you have, I think you can kind of throw that out the window unless you have calves that are much larger than mine. But overall, plenty large calf opening up at the top. So looking at the rest of it, as far as the base material goes, you've got a synthetic leather, a lot of hard TPU on this. You can see you got that over top of the toe box, works its way all the way up the shin plate, actually a really big shin plate for impact protection. And then when you look at the back here, you can see you've got a lot of hard TPU on the back as far as your calf protection as well. So if we look at the side, we talk about the buckles. Again, like I said earlier, that's the big difference between this and the previous model. So they're going to be 3-buckle design. They're all going to be the same type of buckle as the Instinct boot. So it's kind of nice they're taking a feature from their high-end boot, putting it into their entry level. Now the buckles work well. I haven't really had too many issues with these. I spent a lot of time in the Instinct boots. My only nitpick with these is that you can see the buckle here, it's kind of short, and sometimes when dirt and gunk gets built up inside there, it can be a little bit harder to snap down. My complaint is that this buckle is kind of sharp, so sometimes when you're really pressing on that thing to get to snap down, it kind of hurts your hands a little bit. So if it were up to me, I would say make these buckles a little bit longer and don't make them so sharp on the edges, but that's just my personal opinion. Now, as you work your way up, you can see you've got 2 of those buckles up here on the top as well. This is the big difference. So before, they had these silicone straps like you see on the Comp R boot that they did up here at the top. And I actually called up Fox because I was kind of curious, said, hey, you guys had just released the Comp boot, you had the silicone strap, why'd you already go away with that and go back to a regular style buckle? And it was pretty cool. They were very honest about it. They said, well, you know what? We like the silicone strap. And I'm gonna tell you right now, guys, when I rode in this boot with the silicone straps, I had no issues, no complaints there. I don't think it was a bad design whatsoever. But just, you know, after Fox kind of got the opinions from the general public, getting feedback on those, they just kind of felt like the general public would be more happy if they just had regular buckles versus the silicone straps. And so they gave the public what they want, which I think is really cool for Fox to step up to the plate and say, hey, you know what? Maybe they weren't ready for those. Let's go back to traditional style buckle, which is what you're getting now with these. So props to Fox for doing that. But if we open it up, here is one feature that I like about these that's pretty unique. There's no other boot on the market that I am aware of that has this. And you have what they call their Speedlace system, or their internal lace system here on the inside. So essentially what you have this internal gaiter here. It's not a booty design where you have a separate booty that you put your foot into first. So you can see you've got this little, you can almost call it like a sock that's built into the boot. And then you have this lace here, and on the end of this cord you've got this plastic slider. So what you do is you just put your foot inside there, and then you take this and you just cinch that down. And what I like about that is when you cinch that internal lace system down, it really holds the foot and the ankle into place well. So I don't know if you're familiar with the term heel float. It's a pet peeve that I have, and that's when you're wearing a boot, and whether you're walking or riding, you feel like your ankle's kind of floating around in there. I like the Speedlace system, or excuse me, internal lace system, because it just holds everything in place well. So I think that's a feature that I really like about this, especially at an entry-level price. Now, here's another thing I do want to point out. You can see I've got the gray version next to me. So this is the Comp X. This is their off-road version of this boot. The only difference, I'm going to show you right now, you can see with the sole design on the Comp, you got more of a motocross style sole. I'm just going to point out here that the rubber that they use on these is actually really grippy. Something I did notice about these, they stay very planted to the foot pegs. You've got a really good burn guard on the inside using that same good grippy rubber, so great grip on the bike. But when you look at the sole and you compare that to the Comp X, you're going to notice Comp X has the off-road style sole. So if you do a lot of trail riding, off-road riding, maybe you're planting your foot to muscle the bike around, or you're going to be off the bike a little bit just doing some trail stuff, then maybe the Comp X is going to be the better option for you because you can see you do have more of that lug style sole design. So that's just going to come down to rider preference as far as what sole design you're going to want. Now, what I do want to point out too, above this, you have the Comp R. So the Comp R is their mid-level boot. You jump up about $60 in price to the Comp R. I'm just going to talk about some of the differences because I've ridden them both. So if you're trying to decide, should you bump up in price and go to the Comp R or should you stay with the Comp, I'll kind of give you some good indicators of what you can expect that's different about these. So one thing with the Comp boot, you look at the toe box, it's a little bit thick in my opinion. You know, for me, when I ride, I feel like the toe box was just a little bit high. Sometimes it was a little bit difficult to get my foot underneath the shifter. Yes, after time, you get used to it. It's no longer an issue, but that was something I noticed with the Comp R boot. That toe box does sit a little bit more low. So it does, for me, I think just makes shifting just a little bit easier. That's really the biggest difference, honestly, between the two. Both are rock solid. The Comp R does not have that internal lace system, but the Comp R does do a better job of holding your ankle in place without needing that internal lace system. So just a couple things to keep in mind. But we have a product spotlight on the Comp R boot as well, so give that a watch if you're not quite sure. And then also, last thing I will point out is with the Comp R boot, instead of having two upper buckles, you have one large silicone strap. So that's another deciding factor. But if you guys do have questions or comments about the Comp boot from Fox Racing, leave those below. We'll get those answered. Like I said, I've ridden in these, so if you want some more of my feedback, I'm more than happy to give that. So leave your questions, comments below. And to pick one up, you can just click on the link or head over to RockyMountainATVMC.com. Orders over $75 ship free. If you guys like this product spotlight, we got a lot more just like them, so make sure get subscribed to our YouTube channel, and that's going to keep you up to date. I am Chase. We'll see you on the trails.